Lockdown has shown us a side to the world that not many people really got to see before. It has shown us what happens when a place goes from overpacked and crowded with people to near zero activity. And because lockdown has stuck around for way too long, it has now made people feel way too familiar with this one feeling. And I know we have all experienced this feeling when we see these images like this, or maybe you've even been in these situations yourself. There is this aura of dread and a sense of something often uncanny that comes with seeing locations like schools and shopping centres and playgrounds be completely empty. And this feeling has a name, and it's called Kenopsia. And these pictures and that word has got me thinking about how many people discuss that uncanny feeling that comes with multiplayer maps in video games. The first example of me feeling Kenopsia is of course in Halo 1's map Sidewinder. This was my first experience and I strongly believed it to be linked to scopeophobia, which I spoke about in that video. I had a strong feeling that I was being followed or stalked by something in the map that actually wasn't present. But maybe that wasn't the case, maybe it wasn't linked to scopeophobia, but maybe something else even more important. Maybe it goes beyond that fear and paranoia and there is probably something more tangible here and a reason behind this feeling. And maybe it's something we have to locate in the past, so I think a good place to start would be in a galaxy far, far away. This is Kenopsia on the battlefront. The Star Wars universe is important for this video and for this discussion, and possibly more important than any example you could bring up for feeling Kenopsia in any other video game. The impact Star Wars has had on our society and us as a culture, from the toys and technology that allows us to absorb the media that we do, is unlike any other, and the only thing that's possibly just as close is the Marvel Cinematic Universe or possibly Harry Potter. If you see something from Star Wars, almost every single consumer will immediately recognise it, or at least understand the scene that's being referenced in whatever may be making a reference towards Star Wars. And along with every single one of these scenes is the iconic moments of music and all the characters that we love and grew up with, from Luke, Han Solo, Darth Vader, Count Dooku, General Grievous, Finn, and so many more. We know who the heroes are, we know who the villains are, we know the roles they play, and we know what they mean to this universe. Then along with these characters come all the planets that they play their parts on, from the Ewoks of Endor to the intimidating Wampa of Hoth, and of course the undeniably clean vision of the interior of the Death Stars, and all the way to the sands of Tatooine. You can't deny that you possibly know more about Star Wars than our real world history, or at least Star Wars has played an important role in one moment of your life, whether or not you like it or not. We as a culture have become so comfortable with the universe and characters. We are even nostalgic for anything that comes along Star Wars, even if it's new. There are so many callbacks and known locations, and what happens when all of a sudden every one of these locations becomes empty and all these characters from these iconic scenes just disappear? That's where DICE coming. DICE's Battlefront series has to be the closest we're ever going to get to actually be put into these scenes from the iconic films. But why am I looking at Battlefront and not the actual movie games based on the movies themselves, or even Fallen Order? That's because DICE were able to freely research all the props and locations from the films from the Lucas archives, and because of that it allows the scenes and locations themselves to be authentic recreations, and of course full of so many details that anyone could have missed unless you really had those props in your hand yourself. And because of their passion for Star Wars and because of how they was able to investigate every location, they created that feeling of nostalgia through every single iconic location and battle that you can recreate in their Battlefront franchise. taking down an AT-AT in your T-47, or battling the rebel scum on the Death Star hangars. But over time, everything must end. All these iconic locations and battles must fall silent, and because of that, these locations go from and become this. Kenopsia is what you're feeling, and Kenopsia is present in every hall and abandoned control room. I was shocked of just how much weight came with the silence of these worlds. I'm so used to seeing Hoth thrive in that iconic opener of Empire, but now it remains a still, silent battle zone. No sounds, no rebels running for aid, no guns overheating or explosives reverbing off the frozen walls. There is no such sound or life in this surrounding frozen planet, but instead this creates a weird feeling for this location, like it isn't being used like it originally was intended. And that feeling isn't nostalgia, it's something way more uncomfortable. DICE's Battlefront is full of so many feelings with every location, and now that it's turning into a lonely backdrop of nostalgia, there is something that comes along with that. I remember walking around Jabba's palace just to get this footage, and something is very unsettling knowing that this is set after Jabba was killed and Solo was freed. What was once the home of one of the most powerful space gangsters in the universe now decays with a change of power. Smoke from machines being left on, drinks left from parties, Gamorrean guards left in their cells after a betrayal, and of course it's that slain Rancor that lays dead in the trap underneath, that fills this once powerful kingdom with a stench of something more sinister. Its corpse just lying still under a blanket of dirt and sand, while the flies nesting inside of its corpse make themselves at home, but the sounds of them buzzing around can only fill your ears. It's the level of authenticity that allows you to revisit these locations, and for them to allow the Star Wars universe to feel even more alive than it usually should. And when the dust is all settled after it's said and done, what remains of these places after nobody else is alive to explore them? While I was exploring the wonderful woods of Endor, I got a glimpse of Ewoks hiding and watching me, and it felt magical and weirdly nostalgic in its smallest encounters that you may have missed because of all the mayhem of a normal multiplayer experience. But along with that nostalgia and that magical feeling that only Star Wars could provide, also came along that dread of the Empire. The world and universe of Star Wars is always expanding, and with that, every single match you enter in this game alone makes the world feel very much alive to us as fans and as a culture as it continues to grow with us. This feeling, I believe, allows for that Kenopsia to worm its way into your mind and create almost a liminal space with these locations. And that goes back to that same feeling I had on Sidewinder in Halo 1, because I felt like there was something coming after me, because very much like Star Wars at the time, Halo was an ongoing universe. It was only getting its start and it was only turning into something bigger than we could ever imagined. And because of that, the environments of the multiplayer and even the single player story mode create an atmosphere that almost feel alive and moving in their stillness. And very much like we remember the iconic scenes from Star Wars, so does Halo have that iconic effect in its empty multiplayer stages. The Halo universe for me was a place I felt comfortable. Meeting friends after school, pulling sick days to play Halo Reach on day one, and of course the many hours I put into creating maps and making photos in the iconic, silly, toxic community that was Halo. All of that is coming to an end, or has come to an end, of 2021. Halo of course will continue through the Master Chief Collection on PC and of course the next gen Xboxes, but the Bungie website on which we saw our original Reach ranks and of course the Halo 360 servers will all be shut down during the early months of 2021. Every stupid photo, community map and painstaking hour that we put into Halo Reach to get all the upgrades is finally seeing its curtains close, and that saddens me. It's like a picture book of memories if it was finished and then by the end of it we just threw it into the fire. But it was a good time, it was fantastic and filled with so many nostalgic moments, so thank you Bungie for all those great years. But then it doesn't stop there. Every multiplayer stage on the Xbox 360 now, like the Battlefront, will remain silent. Kenopsia will rule these maps, memories of which you created, and all the good times and even all the bad times will all forever hold their place within these maps. But on the Xbox 360 you're never going to see them thriving like they once used to, and because of that it's oddly terrifying. But of course I'm not the only one who has this feeling, and I actually asked a few individuals to assist me here and talk about their memories in many other multiplayer games too.
Is this thing on? Am I good?
My voice might be a little bit. I had a big sing, so I just done a lot of singing. So my voice is.
Hi, thanks for having me. What's that? I said no cameras.
Oh, hey, whoa, what's up? Hey,
What was your favourite multiplayer game growing up?
What was my favourite multiplayer game growing up? Got to be Modern Warfare 2. You cannot beat the 2009-2010 coming home from school, booting up Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, dealing with the bullshit, the laughs, the banter, the toxicity, the overpowered weapons, search and destroy. The entire experience was just crafted me as a young lad back then.
I remember playing a lot of the Halo Reach training sim in the camps. So many hours were sunk into that sim trying to rank up and unlock all the armor mods to flex on my time in the sim itself. Shame it didn't really translate to the battlefield with those Covenant bastards.
I feel like I grew up in a golden age of gaming. I feel like I was able to experience the best that gaming offered at several pivotal moments in my life. You know, from Mario Kart 64 to Dance Dance Revolution, there was no shortage of amazing multiplayer games for me. But nothing stands out or means more to me than Halo 3. That game carried me through my teenage years. If that game didn't exist, I would probably be dead.
When I was a child, right, I didn't really have a lot of money. You know, being a child, I couldn't work, or I could illegally, I guess, but I chose not to work illegally. And so when I was browsing Steam, there was a section on the store page that really fascinated me, and that was the free-to-play section. And there was this one game that just kept popping up, and it was called Team Fortress 2, and this game has just dominated my entire life, really. It's my most played game of all time. I have 850 hours in it, and the funny thing about TF2 is that you can say that to someone. You can be like, yeah, I've played 850 hours, and they would go, only 850 hours? Come on, that's amateur.
what was my favorite game growing up? It'd have to be the game that I absolutely owned at every match, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I was an absolute god at that game.
Can you remember any fond memories playing them?
Like everyone else, I spent more than a few hours in the Forge mode trying to create our own little maps and secret bases. I remember specifically trying to recreate battle scenes from my history classes at the time, the Battle of Gallipoli being a specific one because I was trying to build a battleship out of all of the in-game assets and barriers and such.
I have so many just random memories I have of the game. I've played it so much. I could talk to you about the countless hours I spent playing the soldier and trying to learn all the rollouts for each map so I could rocket jump about from place to place as quickly as possible, or downloading practice maps and trying to backstab people as a spy in super unique ways, or the brilliant play versus everyone mode, man versus machine. It's like,
Rather than my friends telling their parents, oh, we're gonna go over to Daniel's house, they actually just started saying, we're going to Dan's basement. And Dan's basement means one thing: sitting on a sectional for hours and playing Halo 3. We literally lived in Dan's basement. And to this day, when my friends and I get together, we just call it going to Dan's basement. It's great, it's wonderful. But regarding Halo 3, oh man, we did it all.
Search and destroy. The SND days and nights with their boys. All of the maps in Modern Warfare 2, search and destroy on Favela, on High Rise, on Estate, on Afghan, the noob tubes At the start of the map, you get noob tubed across the map.
I took so much joy in noob tubing all these tryhards that were drop shotting with the UMP or quick scoping with the intervention. I would also go all out with the kill streaks like Harrier Strike into AC-130 into the glorious tactical nuke.
You know, whatever happened with that one kid? The one with the little green lightsaber? Padawan Charlie, Little Charlie we used to call him. Yeah, he was a nice guy. I mean, too bad we had to blast him, but, you know, he was a nice guy.
Involving the games that you're talking about, explain how it feels to you seeing now all these iconic maps and memories now completely empty.
You know, looking around, it's just, it doesn't feel right. These maps are always populated with people doing stupid taunts or putting their sprays on the walls or the spies looking up and doing the stupid spy crab thing.
It's almost a symbol and a memorial of a time where I was younger and had a much simpler life. Like, I remember booting up custom games by myself and just exploring Valhalla alone. I was struck by it, really. It's such a beautiful place and it's so calm, despite the carnage that's supposed to take place here. It's a beautiful juxtaposition, really. This place had such a profound influence on me. I remember thinking to myself when I was younger that, wow, I could live somewhere like this, or, man, I wish this place was real. And those feelings still haven't gone away. Recently, when Halo 3 came to PC, the first thing I did was boot up a solo custom game, and I came back here to Valhalla. It was like visiting an old friend, or, as morbid as it sounds, a grave of a loved one.
How does it feel when the maps are completely empty? Well, so funny story. When Modern Warfare 2 came out, I was a junior in high school and I lived with my mom and we were broke as fuck. I was fortunate enough to have an Xbox 360 and the game, but we didn't have internet in the house at all. So while I was great at the game because I played it a bunch at friends' house and stuff, I never had the chance to play it online at my own house. I did, however, capitalize on this by exploring the crap out of all the maps offline to find cool little areas to get to. And then that knowledge from those areas that I found, I then brought into online play.
Any Modern Warfare 2 map is garbage without people in it. Even if it was like a 2v2, those games, you used to do like the game battles back in those days, the 2v2s, the 3v3s, they were shite. They were shite. They were just not anywhere near a full lobby experience. The toxicity at the end of the round, when everybody would scream and hurl Doug's abuse at you, it was just a magnificent time. But to go back to what you're actually asking, how it feels when the maps are empty, it feels pish. It feels shite.
Quiet, very quiet. It makes you appreciate all the ambient background noise that are normally littered throughout most of the maps. The explosions and plasma fire in the distance, the rustling of trees on the wind, whatever wildlife might still be around and their little noises as well. But when there's no players chatting or bantering, no nearby gunfire going off, no announcer voice to call out kill streaks or important turns in the tide of the matches, it's quiet enough to make a graveyard deafening. And you'll all end up in the...
I think that's all I have to say. You can if you'd like, I can write this all down and then make it more coherent. Because I think I even when I write stuff down, I can make it sound impromptu. This is why I don't impromptu my videos, because I'm very bad at dictating my thoughts in an open discussion. So.
That all? Am I good to go? Okay. No, I really appreciate it. I hope it was good. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye. Thank you.
But yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, high rise level. You weren't gonna win if I was on that map, and I was dropping a nuke. You better believe it. So, talk to you later, noob.
Though we're able to play these games still on single player and play the stories they have to offer, unlike films, we can't go back to the good memories of playing the multiplayer maps like they once were. We're not able to enjoy a whole entire marathon and get a bunch of friends together and boot up the servers because sometimes the games just no longer run just like they were meant to. But just like everything in time, we have to accept that their time is over, and now that their legacy is forever just a moment in time and a moment in our memories, where they all lay completely silent, still, full of nostalgia, and forever remain a liminal space in pure decay. Oh, this video was so fun to make, and I just want to first thank Snugboy, Dan-san, Mr. Hammers, Ark, GamerFun TV, Infamous Hellfire. All you guys did a fantastic job with the interview stuff, and it was a ton of fun being able to go into VR chat and recreate them interviews with motion capture through the VR, which was a weird way to go about it, but hey, it's fun. It was really awesome. Thank you so much for taking a part in this video, guys. I love you all. If you love their content, if you want to check them out, please, there's links down below to all their incredible channels. They're wonderful. Please just check them out. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like, and why not subscribe? And I would like to hear your thoughts. Have you ever walked around a multiplayer game that's made you feel on edge? Or maybe you've done like I did and walked around Battlefront, and how did that feel walking around seeing something so iconic as Star Wars be completely still? I would love to know your thoughts. Please put them down below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to stick around because I make videos like this every single week. And if you're definitely going to be there, I will see you at the next checkpoints. Goodbye.